Welcome to the next episode of Your Charisma Coach. It's finally here. Now, it gives me great pleasure today to be interviewing an expert on presence, Jonny Dupré.
Pleasure, Marcus.
Pleasure as well, mate. I had the absolute opportunity and pleasure to meet Jonny on a recent trip to Mexico. He's agreed to talk about a little bit about what he does and what gives him, and if I'm honest, the absolute most massive presence I've ever seen of anybody. Walks into a room, people light up. This guy, I mean, his voice projects everywhere. We don't even need a microphone for this. It's just boom! We went out to various clubs, to various parties. All eyes are on this guy all the time. He has presence by the bucket load. Now, I've been lucky to meet lots of people who are very successful in all their fields. Jonny has the most presence of anyone I've ever met. So I thought this is too good an opportunity not to miss. Let's find out what makes him amazing.
Thanks, Marcus.
Yeah, pleasure to be here, Jonny. So, what is presence?
What is presence? For me, it literally is the ability to be so present in a situation that everybody else is present with you.
Okay, so like present in your own self.
Yeah, well, and at the same point in time, it's the presenting of yourself as a present individual within whatever situation you're in.
Okay, and is that something you always had, or is that a skill you had to develop and learn? I mean,
absolutely something I had to build.
Okay, well, that's
absolutely something I had to build. As a kid, I went to private school, and so I didn't really have a whole lot of opportunities to build social skills at a young age. I was really spent most of my time focusing on building intelligence.
Okay.
So when I had the opportunity to go into elementary school at a public school, all of a sudden, you start meeting new people, new different groups, cliques. Popularity becomes more important. Social situations change and shift pretty quickly. So I sort of ran smack face first into the Mack truck of needing presence.
Okay. So, I mean, a lot of people I found when I worked with them, they always have the situation, and something definitely I had, is you'd be in a bar maybe, and you're talking to like a couple of your friends, and they'd be like in the conversation, chat, and you're almost playing sort of tennis, you're at Wimbledon looking for the ball, it's like this. And you can't get into the conversation, and that's a perfect moment when presence really helps. Is that something that you've had to deal with, and is there a technique or anything we can use to
absolutely
smash into that?
Of course, now, in most social situations, you're going to be dealing with a lot of different factors, especially in a place like a nightclub or out in Starbucks or something like that, where there's people constantly moving around. There's the sounds in the room of the coffee being made and people yelling and some people talking on their phones and all the rest of that. For me, the biggest and most important thing that I had to learn to develop quickly was your voice. You absolutely have to present yourself through vocal tone the same way people perceive you.
So your voice fills a room. And, I like to think I talk loud, but it's like, I think my voice sounds like a fly in the wind compared to you. So what do you do, or is there anything we can do to get that boom?
Absolutely, there's a lot you can do for specifically vocal tone and inflection. Number one, try speaking in a place that has a lot of sound around, and just continuing to elevate your volume. Literally just volume, continuing to elevate it while not appearing try-hard.
Right, what would try-hard be?
Hey, Marcus! Come over here, man! It's try hard. You're like screaming almost.
Okay.
As opposed to still projecting with volume, even at this level, while looking almost completely relaxed.
So you're a bit more laid back.
Yeah, absolutely.
So at breakfast this morning when I went, "Hey Jonny, how you doing?" and you just walked past and blanked me. That was why.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Not.
So is there any way you can test your projection in that way? I mean, do you have any little ideas, like, say, go to a coffee shop maybe and trying to get somebody's attention from the back of the room? Would that work?
Absolutely. And of course, there's the social situations we were speaking about before. If you're out in a nightclub, right, try increasing your distance from the group. So if the group's got 3 or 4 people in it, and you'll notice there's a sort of natural circle they're creating, or a natural area they take up, I'll take 2 steps back and see if I can still get them to perfully clearly hear
so
me.
that's a good little experiment.
Yeah.
Hey guys! Hi,
how you doing?
very well, thank you.
Hi, I can see that. Yeah, I know how Okay, let's try. What's your name? Let's do this, yeah? It's gonna be £1.40.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, fun times. All right, so how long does it take you to get proficient at presence? And what I mean by that is, you know, I think we all go through a learning curve when we get a skill, then spend a few more months, maybe even years refining the skill. But that initial curve, how long was that for you?
That initial curve for me, well, you know, it's really interesting. I'm going to take 2 seconds to talk about this right now.
Okay.
The difference between having someone there with you as a sort of sounding board takes this curve and increases it by a monumental amount. So having your charisma coach being there with you gives you opportunities to not only have the sounding board of the people that are there, sort of innocent bystanders in the situation, but having somebody actually there who knows and understands your intention, so that they can actually thanks crazy. Having somebody there to help you, to help be your sounding board, who understands your intention for what you're doing, can help increase this monumentally. But for me, I didn't have somebody like that there, so it was literally just guess and check. So my process for it probably took much longer than could have.
But you had like a methodical approach in the end then, so you were kind of...
Yes, I had a methodical approach to it. One thing at a time. I always practice just one thing at a time. So I would go into a club the entire night. I would spin just on my voice.
So here's a quick question then.
Yeah.
Marlon Brando has a very introverted presence, or did before he became a skeleton.
Yes.
And
yes.
You know, you have someone like in the UK, we have a comedian called Russell Brand. Who,
I know Russell.
He's doing quite well. He's in America now.
Yeah.
But he's got a very extroverted presence.
Yes.
And you've got these differences. So what controls that difference? How can someone have a quiet presence and not necessarily have to be the life and soul of the party, but still drawing people in, as opposed to somebody who's like, way?
That is an interesting question. For me, it's about energy. It's about intensity.
Emotional energy?
Emotional energy, right, specifically. Okay. So if I'm in a club and I'm wanting to be quiet and reserved and more introverted, I'm going to be projecting the same voice tone through my eyes.
Okay. Right.
So it's as if I'm still trying to impact the group without having to speak.
You form like a strong intention.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, Jonny, we're going to end it there. Not as a friendship, hopefully. Hopefully that will continue.
Of course not.
Yeah, that'd be rubbish, wouldn't it? Yeah, let's bugger off now.
If we're going to stay friends, then you probably should take that.
This isn't as thick as the one I gave you.
Yeah, I know. It's weird how that happens.
So look, I know you're in the process of developing a website at the moment.
I am.
And I'm hoping you're going to come back to yourcharismacoach.com and share a few more pearls of wisdom. So hopefully everyone watching can keep track of what you're doing, because Jonny is going to be, I think you're still deciding exactly what you're going to be doing, but your knowledge on social dynamics of creating social empowerment and building people's social skills is, second to none. You're absolutely fantastic.
Thank you very much.
So it's an absolute pleasure. You can stay in touch with what Jonny's up to. I'll add a link to the bottom of the text below this video shortly. But in the meantime, Jonny Dupré.
Marcus, a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you shortly on the next episode of Your Charisma Coach.
Woo! Well, I hope you found that episode useful on building presence. If you'd like to stay up to date with the latest charisma tips, gossip, including what Jonny's up to, check out my Facebook page, facebook.com/Your Charisma Coach.